With your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. CommenterNation, greatest nation since United Nations. Now, a lot of what's going on right now is visuals and many different concepts brought into the Nipsey Hussle situation. In my opinion, there's many angles to this, and I'm gonna break these angles down swiftly so you get it. There's angles of his presence right in front of his store. Who was aware of this? There's angles of past indications of beef that could come up. There's also angles of his documentary. There's also angles related to the fact that he had a long-lasting interaction with some individuals because of his affiliations. Or we can also look at this clout reasons. Now, what's similar about different things we've looked at to date, it would have to be the fact that he literally was in a situation where, if we presume to understand the whole picture, where he was doing greater things for the community he was in and things that most people don't do. It's also interactions and affiliations that are industry level that we don't know about. And I mean, he was at the alleged famous event known as March Madness during this time. So we don't know if he was followed from there. We don't know. But what's similar even more to the cases we spoke about was the fact that this person who allegedly did it went on social media and bragged about it. So here's where my confusion lies. If someone stood up and bragged about the murder, why is there random violence going on? I don't get that. That's something that precedes me, because someone jumped up like, I did it. Wouldn't everyone's focus be on that person and not random drama to get revenge? That's what gets me a little bit. That's what's kind of confusing. That's why I sat back and was looking at what's going on, because violence erupted after the visual. But that's where the confusion lies. Who is this guy and who is he affiliated with to feel strong enough to get up and brag on social media, and in a way to try to carry the narrative to disrespect the legacy by like, look, I did it. To even feel that strong to do that, who's his backing? That's something that needs to be understood and something that I feel should come out, because if I'm bragging about having done it, that means I have no fear of any consequence that could come from me being brought out as someone that did it. I literally have no fear, to the point where I'm in your face like, I did it. Yeah. And I'm smiling, laughing about it. And everyone's like, oh, police have identified. But if violence is going to occur, wouldn't it occur over the person that's bragging about doing it and not to random people around the situation? That's where my confusion lies. But that's something that I guess is going to get sorted out. But everyone wants to add weight to this documentary. I also have people alleging that that was his father. I'm not understanding that. That angle precedes me unless there's evidence behind it. And to make statements like that, you got to have some solid evidence, honestly. That's what it really confuses me. I mean, it is what it is, but I haven't heard anyone really blasting that across the media having known that. But in respects to that viewpoint, we also was hearing that another doctor was the father of another mainstream superstar. So, I mean, it could be up in the air. I'm not really sure. But the one thing that I think needs to be understood in the larger perspective is that we need to understand what the motive of this person was. We need to comprehend why they would feel that it was necessary to run up, run down, do whatever they did, and then brag about it. I mean, this is not something you brag about. This is asking to get caught. So why would they go to those lengths to prove their power and who was causing violence at the vigil? This, in my opinion, has gone to erupt and refuel / reignite the drama that would occur in LA. See, They discuss when violence is happening, but they don't really discuss when the violence is down, when no one's actually hurting people, when there's not really something going on to cause issue. But they do publicize when it's all occurring. That's another thing you got to keep in mind when we're looking at this. These type of situations, they're never good, but it does cause some type of unease when you're dealing with a system that media wise only puts out the bad like that, but hesitates on putting out the good. You know, there's a lot of people that's going up and their media is for them to talk about all, you know, RIP the situation, but that's not getting us anywhere. Everybody feels some type of way about the situation, but the ultimate feature is to understand the why, and the what was the cause. These are the type of things that don't really get any light. You only see the event. You don't see the before and the after effects, or no one really comes out discussing the people that brag about it. Same thing with the TheCzarr situation. So it's starting to really bring me to an understanding that a deeper motive may have been at play. Now, through watching the media moguls that I learned from, that I've spoken of before, I've come to also understand that he had some type of desire to have a meeting with officers to quell the violence. So this is one of the first times I heard someone come out and saying they wanted to get an initiative and make well with the law enforcement to stop the violence. Could this have been something that could have been a factor? As in, this was something not wanted by the enforcement around, or some type of situation where someone got wind of it in a street manner and was like, nah, we ain't about to do that. I'm not understanding that part either. I'm not really getting it when someone's looking to make better when it comes to situations like this, and they're using their power and influence to do so. It seems to cause some level of discontent or drama amongst a lot of locals. Could this have interfered with their money? Could this have been a planned situation? Because I also heard drills were being ran by enforcement specialists in the areas before or prior to this. These are all angles that we can look at. These are all angles that a lot of people don't bring up. See, and it gets touchy because, again, I have information and things that I'm just waiting for, dealing with these situations that I don't want to clickbait it. I want to be real about it, especially when it's involving law enforcement. And I told you that if they mess with me and they played with me and they tried to do stuff that it would be on, I wouldn't play with it. So, I mean, it's up to them. If it's a continued situation, then we got to go there, because you can't say you're going to protect and serve, but you're serving yourself and you're protecting your name. That doesn't work. If you're eating off of my tax money, then I'm going to have to eat off of you in return. That's just the way it's going to work. I can't play with it. Never played with it, never will. You know, a lot of people are stuck up and spoon-fed since the beginning, and they don't know hardships. Well, then we got to make it harder for you. And here's the thing. Anonymously, I always give information to multiple people. Even if you know someone's like, oh, I'm hacking or something, you're not going to find the information you're looking for, because I do it in a certain way. The same mannerisms you'd use to search up stuff, because I want all this stuff released. And there are some people that get away with things that I know behind the scene got away with things because they wore the badge or they did certain things, and they don't have to face the consequences. Well, the best consequence is social media, because your image gets torn because of who you are, and you can ride around, but everybody knows the type of person you are. That's the best revenge. Always has. That's why I work myself to this length and angle, because I'm going to make sure the right people know. Whatever comes of it, comes of it. But because you played with me, now I have to play with you like food. You know, you prey on the ones who are doing what's right, but you slide off and give passes over racial differences, of relation differences, of knowing someone. These type of things need to stop, especially if you want to get paid off of my money. Then, you know, you're going to have to suffer some, because I'm not going to be the only one suffering. That's a fact. You know how I rock. All rights reserved.